Hello there and welcome back. Well, today we're going to be going over, as the title explains it, 10 games for the Sega Master System with great graphics. Are they in a particular order? I'm not fussed. I think all of them are great anyway. So anyway, let's get on with it. So 10 great games with great graphics for the Master System. Okay, the first one I have chosen, James Bond II Robocod. Now this one I first played on the Amiga, and I thought this one converted really well to the Master System. Now, bear in mind, the Amiga was a 16-bit, it's converted over to the Mega Drive as well, but playing it on the Master System, I just found that it really pushed itself to the limits, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. You know, some people have said, oh, it's not that good. I found this one to be, after playing it, on a better system, I found this one to be a very good conversion, and it still delivers. It really does have that quality gameplay, great use of graphics, great use of sound, backgrounds, foregrounds. It really all is in there. A pretty good conversion in my opinion. Now, some of you might say differently, but me, definitely, graphic-wise, absolutely fantastic. Worth checking out. My next one I have chosen is Gauntlet. Oh yes, now Gauntlet I think is probably one of the best 8-bit conversions out there ever. I did find this one really good. I think it's once again a good use of colours. The sound effects were basically just based on the graphics alone. I watched the screenshots in a magazine and saw this, and I at the time thought, wow, it's okay, perfect. Okay, it's not. But to see this one and to know it was 2-player, to actually have my own version of Gauntlet as well back then, really did make me chuffed. I was over the moon, and it did really well. It was like over 500 stages in there, 512, 1 or 2 players. But looking just at the graphics, a great use of colour. You can see individual sprites, and very well animated indeed. Now, Gauntlet is one of those, you either love it or hate it, but it's an absolute classic. Very good conversion, definitely worth giving it a try if you've not, but I'd expect a lot of you have. The next one I have gone with is Psycho Fox. Yeah, Psycho Fox. Well, a brilliant platformer. Some great use of colours and well animated graphics as well. Fantastic game, that aside. But graphic wise, yeah, there are some stages where it's all black in the background, but they're more of like tunnel stages or warp stages. Everything else, absolutely brilliant. Great animation, great sound, great colour. But this alone, I think it really does it well. I remember seeing the stills in a magazine, and I found this one to be really good. Actually looked better when playing it, because a lot of the time you can look at a still in a magazine, and when you're actually playing it, it does tend to be like, oh, it's a bit choppy. Nope, it goes well as well. So the gameplay is pretty good, but that aside, graphic wise, I think this one really did push the Master System to its limits. I think it is great scrolling as well. So yeah, personally, my opinion, this one, Psycho Fox, quality game. Next one I have gone with is Golvelius. Large sprites in there, great use of colours. You're going to find I say that for a lot of these games, hence why they're on the list. But that aside, you know, it scrolls up, down, left and right, multi-scrolling. Every now and then you do sideways scrolling, and then you're going up the screen. But great adventure. It's one of those that, you know, I don't think many people had heard of it. But Gauntlet Valley of Doom originally came out on the MSX, is it MSX2? Ported over to the Master System, or vice versa. I can't remember which came first. But yeah, some real large sprites in there. Pretty good animation as well. The colours they really just show out, and it stands out a lot. And just looking at the stills alone, again, you think, oh, I hope it plays as good as it does. It does play. But that aside, graphic-wise, you know, the scrolling is great, the sound effects is great, but the graphics are absolutely brilliant in this one. Very good animation indeed. And some good stills in there as well. We can see it's really good artwork. Absolutely great artwork. So, Gauntlet, yes, it is on the list for one of the best graphics for the Master System. Next one I've gone with, this should be no surprise, but R-Type. Yeah, now R-Type, the Master System really does push itself on this one. You've got yourself some really large sprites, some of the backgrounds as well, very well detailed. Some, you know, big sprites in there. There is some flicker in there. It does push the Master System to its limits, but I don't mind that at all. It did a great conversion. R-Type is probably one of those, you know, it's in my top 10 for shoot 'em ups. But that aside, when it comes to graphic wise, and it comes to large sprites, great scrolling, sounds pretty good as well. But yeah, this one it's just one of those absolute classics, and should be in everybody's collection for the Master System. Next one I've chosen is Streets of Rage. Well, yeah, once again, great use of colours, some pretty large sprites in there as well. There's a little bit of flickering, but the Master System holds up well. Great scrolling, very detailed, especially in some of the backgrounds, backdrops. You know, on the first stage you've got some sprites, on the fourth stage as well, big lamps as well. It does use a great use of colours. Like I say, large sprites. It really, I think, once again, it pushes the Master System to its limits. 8 rounds in there, some, you know, absolutely quality game. This is definitely another one that should be in your collection as a game itself. But when it comes to the graphics, I think it really does push the Master System to its limits. One I've got, this should not be a surprise, but Bubble Bobble. Wow, now Bubble Bobble is, I used to love playing this in the arcade. I played this on the Amiga at one of my friends' house, and when I found out it was coming out for the Master System, I had to get my own version. I don't think there's many versions out there that do let you down, but when it comes to just the 8-bit machines alone, this is probably the best one. Very close to the arcade indeed. A lot of sprites on the screen, a little bit of slowdown when there's a lot of sprites, but apart from that, there's not that much slowdown at all. There's some quality game in there. Now, you know, the scrolling's great. It's your puzzle style game, but when it comes to the graphics, I was very impressed at how close it was to the arcade. And for me, I think this is another game that pushes the Master System to its limits. Next one I've gone with is New Zealand Story. Yeah, New Zealand Story. Well, once again, I think this is a very, very close conversion indeed. It came out in the arcades, and it was one of those really cutesy platforms. Nothing special in the arcade, but it's very addictive. And if you like platform games, this one is definitely for you. But I was once again very impressed at how close this was in the to the arcade. You know, I've done a side-by-side comparison on my other channel, and sound-wise, graphic-wise, it's almost near arcade perfect. And for an 8-bit machine, once again, I found this one probably to be one of the best 8-bit games, 8-bit conversions. I don't think there's anything else. If there is, please leave a comment down below. You know, but I can't find a better 8-bit version than this. It is truly a fantastic game, still pretty cheap, but when it comes to the graphics, it really does push that Master System to its limits. Next one I've gone with, where you can't have great graphics on a console without using Sonic 2. Well, we've had a Sonic, so yeah, Sonic 2, once again, I think this is, they really did up the game on this one. I mean, the animation alone it's really good. So, you know, you do forget that you're playing a Master System game. It's only an 8-bit machine. Yeah, there's some great backgrounds in there, great backdrops, great use of foreground as well. Well animated, loads of colours in there. Sometimes it does make you wonder that, you know, is this pushing, you know, is it 16 colours on the screen? Is it 32 colours on the screen? You know, I've actually paused it and I had a look to see at these, to see if I can actually count the colours. Yes, I'm that sad. But that aside, I mean, you've got to have a Sonic on it, and I chose Sonic 2 for my system, because this is an absolute quality game. Still pretty cheap as well, but that, you know, when it comes to the graphics, I think this one really does deliver. Definitely worth having in your collection. And my last one I've gone with, this shouldn't be any surprise, but Wonderboy 3 The Dragon's Trap. Now, this is one of the first games I had for my system. I had not actually played it. I saw stills in a magazine and it did look pretty good. I wasn't super impressed, but it did look quite arcadey until I actually played it. And when I actually played it, this really does push the Master System to its limits. I don't think you could get any better graphics than this. So that's why I probably put Wonderboy 3 on this list, because it is just an absolute classic. Now, when you've got to fight your dragons, there is no backdrop, but it's still quite a lot of sprites, very well animated indeed. It's got that cutesy cartoon style all the way through the game, but this one you can tell is such a good use of colours, very well animated. It is definitely worth checking out. I think loads of you have anyway. But this one as well is probably in my top 3 Master System games of all time. But if you've not tried it, highly recommend Wonderboy 3 The Dragon's Trap. There you have it. Some of my favourite games, but absolutely, some really good graphics in them as well. Really, you know, it's like, wow, is this an 8-bit machine? When you put all them in there and you show somebody the ability of what the Master System can do, that's an absolutely fantastic, you know, view of which kind of games you can do. You've got shoot-em-ups, platformers, arcade conversions, beat-em-ups, quality. Anyway, guys, there we have it. That's my opinion You know, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below if you think some out there. I do know there could be definitely another episode I could pull out with great graphics for the Master System. But yeah, let me know some of your ideas as well, so I could probably do another episode and put them in it. So guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you soon.